Today we're talking diffusion lines and we're doing it from my Parisian apartment, everyone. It's actually an Airbnb because I was not able to find a proper apartment here. The whole like apartment research scene in Paris is horror. Wouldn't expect anything less from the city. So I got this Airbnb for the first month, but I'm actually quite happy with it. It's quite easy so far. So I'm thinking of keeping it for longer. You guys know I will be here the whole like first part of 2025. So if you are on the video version of this podcast, you're able to see some details, tiny details. It's quite minimalistic, I would say, of the flat, but does the job, I guess. So today we're discussing diffusion lines because pitti uomo is happening this week, and mm6 is gonna be a guest designer. I'm gonna be in London in a couple of days to discuss the collection that they're gonna showcase at the panel talk. So I will be going even deeper into the topic, but I thought diffusion lines is something that we haven't covered here. MM6 was part of Margiela. If you guys think of the whole like coding system in regards of the labels of Margiela, each number is a specific collection, right? And six, the line six was casual wear for women, and this is how then it became from there a proper diffusion line. Diffusion lines are like an accessible extension of the main line, and of like it kind of it's like a digestible version of the main line, not only for Margiela but in general for all luxury brands. It serves as gateway into the brand's universe for new fans. So it definitely serves as reaching a broader audience as well as converting this new audience into a core audience. You will start to be like familiarized with Margiela through MM6. This is also what happened to me. You would start to familiarize with Margiela through MM6 because it's way more digestible, way more wearable. It's like the pop version of it. You can wear it on a daily basis, but still like kind of like have the same things that you buy Margiela for: the construction, minimalism, playful, like conceptual fashion. But at the same time you would then get used to the Margiela language through MM6, and then you would want to buy Margiela as well. So yeah, it's a great way of increasing numbers, let's put it this way. So then why not every single luxury brand has a diffusion line? That's because it's very easy to kind of like water down and dilute your brand image. So luxury brands would definitely want to protect that. So if you do it, you have to be mindful and very smart about like how you're doing it. I think Margiela as well as Ricohens and Comme des Garçons, they're definitely doing it amazingly, but there are brands that are just literally diluting their image to make sales, which is the case of Versace jeans couture, in my opinion, which does not have a proper meaning of existing. If you're like a proper core fan of Versace, you wouldn't buy Versace couture, jeans couture, if you are able to buy Versace. But that's not the case of Margiela and Dark Shadow because they're really serving different purposes. For example, I own more MM6 than Margiela because I can just wear it more. It's just so much more like if I buy something, I would rather buy something to wear, not something to necessarily collect, and that's it. So that's why I consider Margiela to be more occasion wear for me, and MM6 is something that I would wear on a daily basis. This is how I ended up wearing and like actually buying more MM6 than Margiela. Also, when you think a dark shadow is such an interesting extension of Rick Owens, like it serves a different purpose, but it's still cool. I think you can measure the success of your diffusion line if your core fan base that is actually buying the main line will also buy your diffusion line, because it really means you achieved the goal of um, satisfying different purposes for the same type of fan base. The fact that MM6 experimented with collaborations with Salomon, Dr. Martens, and the North Face, it really placed the brand into the whole like contemporary fashion discussion. Like the brand became a main player in contemporary fashion because of MM6. It's also quite interesting how MM6 was born as casual wear for women, and now it's gonna be the guest designer for the main menswear fair out there, which is pitti uomo. And that's really because MM6 towards 2010s became so much more gender fluid and versatile. It really had a whole like unisex evolution compared to like the first collections. In the end, the success or failure of a diffusion line is measured by the ability to really, let's say, balance the whole accessibility point with the authenticity and the core of the brand itself. Some diffusion lines fail because they really do not establish a distinct identity. Look at MM6 and Margiela, they are both showcasing their collections at Fashion Week, and they do it in different ways at different in different schedules in different cities. The case study that fascinates me the most when it comes to diffusion lines is Comme des Garçons, because there are so many of them, and yet it's a very strong success story. Comme des Garçons was able to extend its spirit across really multiple sub labels while maintaining a strong and very cohesive identity. This is special because normally diffusion lines are there to simplify the whole branding of the main line and of the luxury brand, to simplify either its designs or materials or just like the concept of the brand. Meanwhile, Comme des Garçons has a kind of like this approach where it's about creating multiple distinct narratives that cater to different audiences without really, in the end, diluting the avant-garde DNA of the main line. Reika Wakubo has used diffusion lines as, I would say, almost like an experimental laboratory instead of like an extension necessarily of the image of Comme des Garçons. You have Comme des Garçons Girl, which is really standing out for its approach, its design approach, that's more like youthful and more playful. There's a very specific Comme des Garçons girl niche that feels distinct but also aligned with Comme des Garçons. It just offers like a softer and more, I would say, whimsical take on Rei Kawakubo's avant-garde sensibilities. In the end, also in this case study of Comme des Garçons, the successful take is that they were able to kind of like develop each diffusion line into a proper different extension of the main line, of the spirit of the luxury brand itself. And at the same time, these diffusion lines allow Comme des Garçons and like in general luxury, the luxury houses, to have not only commercial viability but also to be relevant in today's climate and in today's contemporary fashion. I'm super curious to see the new collection of MM6 happening this week at Pitti Uomo, and I'm gonna be doing a little bit of review there as well, so stay tuned.